Hello and welcome to Triple M NRL Daily, live and loud from Los Angeles. We're on our way to Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Charlie White here, and I've got the one and only Ben Dobbin to my right, and Jimmy Graham as well. You boys have been in now for a couple of days in LA. How have the festivities been, Dobbo?
Good, very good. A lot of Dogs fans here in the hotel we're staying at. There's a lot of people that have come across and obviously have made a week of it. Jammer, you've been here for a couple of days down at Hermosa Beach. Your plane would have been full of people coming over to America. It's a great time of the year.
That's great insight. I got on a plane from Sydney to Los Angeles,
fans.
and you know how I describe
Footy
the plane?
fans.
People coming to America.
Footy
well
fans.
done, Ben. Your insight is groundbreaking, giving the people what they want to know. How did you, Dobbo? How long were you thinking of that for your opening line for the opening week of the season? What an observation.
It's a good start for both of you. What have you guys been up to, though? Have you had first night fever? We've just landed, myself, Frew and Curtis, but you guys 2 nights here. Have you gotten a little bit excited?
Things got a bit south for me last night, if I'm honest. But the first night was all right, but last night was a little heavy. But I've had my night out. Saddle Ranch. We've all been to the Saddle Ranch before. There was no mechanical bull this time round, but, it was a good night had by all.
Yeah, I had a good few nights at Hermosa Beach. Did a 25k run before boarding the plane. Not a good idea. Very swollen. Did a little run today, but had a great time in Los Angeles. Great city. And just excited for football. It's round 1. Vegas is happening. So many Bulldogs fans, so many NRL fans around. It's going to be a great week.
Well, we got on the plane. There wasn't much rugby league news doing. We got off the plane, and several big things have happened. We're going to start with Nathan Cleary. He was facing a 2-match suspension. He took it to the judiciary. He took Ivan Cleary as his lawyer, and he's turned a 2-game suspension into an $1,800 fine, free to play round 1. Jimmy, are you happy with the outcome?
Yes, I am, because I want to see Nathan Cleary playing round 1. He's one of the best players in the game. Obviously, the Panthers against the Broncos is a huge blockbuster to kick off the season, and you want to see Nathan Cleary lining up. What I hope this is now, from the NRL's judiciary point of view, is we want to see consistency. So if that's the marker for an $1,800 fine and the Panthers are going to be successful, if a similar incident happens to any other player, whether you're one of the stars of the game or not, you get the same level of treatment and punishment.
Well, that's the benchmark now. I think you're right. And everybody can use the Nathan Cleary case as that's the benchmark for the season.
And that's how it works now. So if you go to fight, you can draw on this example. Which is great for all the other 16 NRL clubs.
I love the fact that he took his dad. Put aside these cases, his dad represented him. I think that, to me, speaks. And look, you want the best players playing. He'll be up at Suncorp Stadium in a fortnight on the Friday night, and it'll be a showcase. And I'm pleased he cleared. Did you think it warranted a suspension?
You've seen those type of tackles.
Less has got more. And you've seen it.
Yesteryear, we have. We have seen it. You could almost see, like Nathan Cleary's rushed out the line. So it was almost a rush of blood from him in a trial game. Maybe that's the justification for it. He's just not quite in defensive sync yet. He's flew out the line, which is probably something the NRL are looking to move away from. And he did get it wrong. The good thing is the young lad from the West Tigers wasn't injured. He got up and played it straight away, but you could see the look of concern. Nathan's just gone to himself, what have I just done? I've cost myself a game, 2 games, whatever it may be. But thankfully for him, he, I guess, rolled the dice to an extent, and he's cleared to play.
So my question to both of you is on this one is that, yep, sure, but he was graded for 2 weeks straight away. So that is the issue, that somebody deemed it, with the way the tackle went, that he got 2 weeks. Then he goes and tries it at the judiciary. He was looking for a lesser charge. It got completely downgraded, completely. So the worry is the consistency. And if you go to the judiciary and challenge it, you're right, the benchmark. But the grading system at the moment, that has been the bugbear of every single NRL club and every single player, because what happens one week doesn't necessarily translate to the following week. So I just hope, in what you're saying as well, is that we see that's the benchmark this year. That is the new normal, and if that's the case, and everybody gets the fair,
and also I think that no injury, was
no
sustained,
injury, and that obviously comes into
obviously helps.
But 2 weeks with no injury. Imagine if he had been injured. What are we looking at? Are we looking at 4 weeks, 5 weeks? It was a heavy penalty for no injury. I understand that they've got to clean the game up, but to me, as we said, we now know where the baseline is. Play on. I'm pleased he's there. Penrith, the better when they're there. The game's better when he's playing. So I like it.
I like Justin Horrow's take on it. He the way he viewed it on his podcast Levels was that Nathan didn't even get him in the head. It was just
correct.
the whiplash action that made it seem as though he got hit in the head. And in fact, he shouldn't have even been sent to sin bin in the first place.
Yeah. Well, that's fair.
Yeah, it is.
Because of force.
But who? Well, you as the defender, if you've rushed out the line, and you put that level of contact on it's a tough one. You'd probably like to speak to the people that do the grading, and I'd like to know, well, whose responsibility is it? Is a whiplash injury the responsibility of the defender, or is it the attacker's fault? So, yeah, it's a tough one to.
But Gemma, if you come out of the line, you used to come out of the line, and you want to meet. They say talk as a defender, but if you don't make contact with the head at all, right? Yeah, and there is a cause of whiplash. Surely, that's got to be.
I'd need to watch that again. I've seen the incident a number of times, but I'd need to go back and watch it again and looking to see if there was actually contact with the head. Because if there wasn't, then it supports the case of Nathan.
Yeah.
He will play round 1 though, which is good for the NRL. Right. It's good for fans. You want to see that grand final rematch. I mean, the prelim final rematch. As soon as you saw that Nathan Cleary was going to get ruled out, I was heartbroken.
52,000. It's sold out that game already in Brisbane. Yeah. You can't. That's as good a matchup. Friday night at Suncorp Stadium in week 1. It's huge. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and you want to see him there. So, good work. Penrith roll on their preparations. Now they won't have any more controversy. And mate, it just shows if you take your dad sometimes, good things happen.
He was happy with the outcome, Nathan Cleary, and he had this to say as well post the judiciary result.
There was mixed thoughts because I think the last few times he's been for the judiciary hasn't worked out too well. So, but I trust him, and we thought, we had a pretty good case, and I'm glad the panel could see that as well.
Very up and about, Nathan there, Jimmy. Happy with the result.
Very well, he would be because he wants to play round 1, and he knows it's a big year for Penrith. What an opportunity to start the season, to go up there to Brisbane to, go to the reigning champions. It's going to be a great match.
Certainly will be. The other big news when we got off the plane, even bigger in my eyes, Mitch Barnett, free to leave the New Zealand Warriors at the end of this year. Yep. Now, it is for personal reasons. He's come out and it's around his child's health and getting some support for his child and being close to family. And the Warriors, as one of the best clubs in the game, so supportive, and they've granted him that release, Dobbo.
Well done to Cameron George and to Andrew Webster, because this is, from all reports, been in discussion since November. But that is a huge player to come onto the market for 2027. And look, well done to him. He's an origin forward. He would have been in that Kangaroo squad for the Ashes had he not had the ACL injury. He's coming back up there, and that throws a huge name out there. I'm really happy that the Warriors have done it and they've understood. I'm happy for Mitch that he gets to come back to Australia. I suppose, Jammer, the big question is where does he land?
Well, Dobbin, just first off on the Warriors, you can't be surprised that they've allowed Mitch Barnett a release, considering the circumstances. That sure, for me, should be standard practice. Let's not forget as well, the Warriors were the beneficiaries of James Fisher-Harris deciding to move back to New Zealand. So, look, for me, we're clapping fish for swimming.
No.
If you're given mate, it's what you should do. If the man needs to get home because of his kids, then fair play. It shouldn't even come up for debate. This is for his children. This isn't a homesickness thing. This is for his kids. This is above and beyond what he is as a rugby player. So, look, congratulations to the Warriors, but you're doing what you should be doing.
100%, but they still deserve the credit for doing it.
All right. Well done. I've said well done, but enough's enough. We don't need to go over the top.
Okay. So he's going to play the season out.
They're letting someone go home because of the illness around his children. So play out. So you move on with that. Where does he go next? Well, there's many of options because most teams would be always in the market for middle forwards. You need at least 6 to play every game of NRL. So your 2 starting front rowers, you lock forward, then at least 3 on the bench. So everybody's looking to add to that middle. We think of some of the great middle combinations of yesteryear, Leota and Fisher-Harris, Haas and Flegler to name but 2. So teams are, even teams that already have good middles, this is a great middle forward that's become available. He can elevate a team to the next level potentially. So I'm looking at teams like the Bulldogs, even though they've just bought in Leo Thompson.
The Broncos have got to be the front runner.
Well, okay, yeah. Relax.
Do you reckon Broncos will be the front runner though? Because if it's for family and personal reasons, a lot of his family's around this Newcastle area. He obviously from Taree growing up. He played a lot of footy at Newcastle. He's got family around Sydney as well. Will that be more his focus?
Penrith, all the top teams will be looking at this. And Brisbane are one of those sides that have obviously just lost the middle that would be looking for that as a straight swap. I don't know. I just don't know if he...
Well, he was asked Dave Ricciardo broke this story, and he has said that, and look, the Titans, obviously Newcastle and the Broncos were mentioned in that article, and he said all 3 teams are close, so he's got access to family. Now, I'll just build this case for you, and I understand you said the Bulldogs. I don't know how they'd fit him into his cap, because they've just bought a number 1 middle. Brisbane are losing a number 1 middle, right? So they lost Flegler because he wasn't going to get paid number 1 money. He went to the Dolphins. They've now lost Haas next year. So you talk about Mitch and his connection. Well, go back to 24. Who was his coach in Origin? Michael Maguire. They have a phenomenal relationship. So, look, I think Michael Maguire losing Haas, but the thing is price. So Keon Kalmatungi's going to St George on what is reported $1 million. Is he, in your opinion, Jammer, a better middle than Keon? Who's coming off an Ashes series, and is that the kind of money that to come back that a club's going to have to pay? Because I don't know if Brisbane pay $1 million. Like I know Huss is on that. They've got to try and keep Gamet Shibasaki. They've got some other players that they're trying to. So you've got Willison, you've got young blokes coming through. It might be you go to a club for less money, but is he better than Keon, and is that kind of money available for him? Do you think?
Well, just picking up on one of your points you made there, Dobber, around Brisbane Bronco and these players that they need to keep and they need to upgrade. Well, this is one of the unintended consequences of winning a competition is everybody's price is therefore inflated. Where does Barnett rank in terms of middles? This is a difficult one because he spent most of last year on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Where the player that you highlighted, Keon Kalamatangi, he had a great year last year, like an amazing year last year, which saw him get Kangaroos representation at the back end of the season. Like maybe if you're going on past 3 to 4 years, you'd have Barnett slightly in front. Keon, is still finding his feet in the middle or still becoming familiar with that position, more of an edge player, moves into the middle and has excelled. Probably Barnett over the past 3 or 4 years of work, you'd have him slightly above. But at the age of 32, Keon's 27, I think, going into the prime years where Barnett probably, with this knee injury, teams may just have an eye. We just want to wait and see where he's at before we put a ridiculous offer in.
Well, he might be a 750 maybe.
Well, I think what teams will do is assess his form and his return to injury. From injury, rather.
Likely back round two. Now, do you think the Knights are going to have a big play for him? He obviously was at the Knights before going to the Warriors. Surely they're going to go hard at him.
Well, they've got cap issues, haven't they? They're going to have some. They're going to have some cap issues because they've got Kalen and they've got Brown in there, and I understand they've had to let a lot of players go. But you'd be interested. You would think that they'd have to because he's a local. You would think that, but look, he's also got to go somewhere where he wants to have success at the back end of your career. You want to go somewhere where you think that there's potential to win a comp, don't you? That's surely got to play in.
I think you go where the family support is.
Yeah.
So here's some of the names that got contract at the end of this season. They got Greg Marju, who would be a well-paid winger. Dan Gagai, who'd be on good money. Tyson Frizzell. And then you got some more smaller names like Brodie Jones and Tyson Gamble. That's a bit of money coming off the books there. And they obviously lost Leo Thompson over the off-season. Yes, they brought in Dylan Brown, but I think they'd have some cap space to go after Mitch Barnett, surely.
Yeah, you'd imagine they'd have some, whether or not they could offer the highest amount of dollars compared to what other NRL teams can offer. But I think with the situation at play, you put some things in and around that to help make Mitch and the rest of the Barnetts as happy as possible, and that would be, the main part of the negotiation or conversation around bringing Mitch to your football club. If you're Newcastle Knights, is you can advantage by geographical location.
Now the other story that we came across as soon as we got off the plane. Now this one is a bit more bizarre in nature. As we were going through the wonderful LA security terminal, Curtis got a message on his phone, and there's a story's broken. Isaiah Iongi, pictures of him with a spliff with a bit of the Bob Marley. It's all alleged, obviously, at this stage, but there's a picture of him with a grinder in front of him. Then there's a picture of him in the bathtub, sparking up a joint, and then there's a third picture as well of him with the joint in his mouth. Now,
when was this? When was this taken?
We don't know. We don't know the details yet. So basically, what's happened is Parramatta Eels knew that it was circulated on social media, and they've referred it to the NRL Integrity Unit.
Has it been verified? Because somebody sent me it looked like a picture turned into a video. Me and Ben Dobbin kissing. I was like, how's that happen? So
what have you guys been up to in the last couple of days here?
It was AI. It was AI. Someone doctored the image to make it that. So we've got to make sure that these images get verified. Yeah. I mean, look, so I've been told, don't smoke weed in the bath. From a good friend of mine says you never want to get high in the bath because things can go wrong. But that's what a good friend told me.
Yeah. It obviously doesn't. We're sort of taking the piss out of it, but it is a bit serious in nature.
Oh, hell yeah!
I think here in Los Angeles, you walk around and you smell marijuana on every street corner.
But it pisses me off. This is what you live for.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You can't wait to slam him.
I'm not going to slam him at all.
Yes, you are, mate.
I'm not slamming him at all. I've got to be honest with you. I don't want to bag that. But no one knows. Did he smoke it? No one knows what was in there. No one knows if the photo is real. So, I mean, good on Parramatta. They didn't have a choice. How does a photo like this get out? That's my take on it. I'm not slamming him at all. It's legal here it's legal here in Los Angeles, in California. So, I mean, every country has different laws. Yes, he's a professional athlete. Yes, it's a banned substance under the NRL guidelines. All that's fine. He would have done tests in the off-season, and so I suspect that he hasn't failed those tests. So let's not accuse this bloke of anything, any wrongdoing. I can't believe it gets out, and you'd like to know who actually posted this. It could be a jilted friend or ex, or you wouldn't know what could go on, because how does that get out? Well,
he's in a bath. He's probably not in the bath with one of his mates.
You could have a neck injury.
You don't normally get in the bath with your mates, do you?
Look, it's not a good look for a player. He's a professional player, and I don't want to minimise it, but we actually don't know the facts on it. And I'm not trying to... Parramatta need some luck. They just need some luck. They need no drama. But good on them. They've gone to the Integrity Unit. There's been a lot worse go on in the course of rugby league over the last 18 months. I'm not trying to minimise it, and it's an illegal substance, but let's just see it play out and then make comment.
And it's all alleged. I'm sure what the NRL will do now, they'll speak to Iongi. I imagine they'll drug test him again. The thing with marijuana is it stays in your system for a few weeks normally. So if that picture is from the last few weeks and it's legit and everything, that will show up in the test, but we'll wait and see on that. The other thing for the Eels that's come out is Josh Addo-Carr set to miss potentially up to 2 months. He's had surgery on his thumb, which he suffered injury in the trial. So, he could miss 2 months.
It's a big out.
Yeah, especially with no Lomax, and it to be determined what comes of the Integrity Unit's take on the Iongi situation. So not good news for Riles and the back three at Parramatta. They obviously lose their one of their most influential players in Lomax. They move on from that, but cruel news with losing Addo-Carr.
We're going to take a break, boys, but up next, we're going to do a deep dive on the Dragons. Every day this week, counting down to Vegas, we're with you. We're going to deep dive every one of the Vegas clubs. And up next, the St. George Illawarra Dragons here on Triple M NRL Daily. Welcome back to Triple M NRL Daily with Charlie White, Ben Dobbin and Jimmy Graham. And boys, we're talking the Dragons. Many people's tip for the spoon. I think, Jimmy, you the other day did your season preview, had them in at 14th. It seems like it's going to be a long season for the Dragons. Yes, they've had some great news bringing in Kalamatangi for 2027, But for this year, the only real signing of note is probably Atkinson. How do you see them going, Jimmy, this year?
Yeah, well, obviously Atkinson coming in, and the jury is still out on Atkinson. Not played a lot of NRL football at all in the past 12 months, and not many games in his short career in the number 7. I think you look at the Dragons last year, and for me, they were committed. They turned off one another, and they were very close. And sometimes in a end of season review, you can look at these close games and make the conclusion, well, if we just get 4 wins out of those 8 games that we were in the contest by a try or less, then we jot those points up, and we're in contention for the 8. And you can throw that line away and get everybody convinced and on board, but it's an incredibly hard task, and I just don't know if they've quite got the players in order to make what seems on paper and in theory a short leap and a small change, but it's actually huge when it comes to executing that.
They've got an ageing roster, and look, Shane Flanagan's had to make some decisions, clearly, and he's had to move players on. He's trying to change the culture of that club. But I'm with you, Jammer. I think it's a bridge too far this year. That's for me. I genuinely, if you look at some of the calibre of players, like Val Holmes, Gutho, Cookie, they've got some real... But, don't disregard the significance of losing DeBellin out of that side. Then they lost Lomax the year before. They've lost some quality players. And then I understand, Ravalaра's gone. I understand, that there is a void of players. But unless they have got talent from within, which I'm unaware of...
There's 4 young forwards. It's the Couchman brothers,
yep.
Stewart and Egan. For me, it's hard to see a world where all four of those become representative players. But you could see a world where one of them does.
Yep.
So what I think it's the coaching staff's job is to get into those 4 players and ask them to separate themselves, because at the moment we clump them all together because no one's really shown that they're going to stand out and make themselves stand out. So for me, if the Dragons are going to go to the next level and dominate in the middle, and obviously they've brought in Keon, one of those 4 needs to shoot the lights out this year. One of those 4 needs to take responsibility and develop into a young leader and be I say this, separate themselves from the pack. Because if they all stay together, if they're all a bit the same and they're all touted about being this young crop of forwards together, they're not going to go to the next level.
Trial form's so hard to judge, and that's probably the biggest thing. They were very poor in their trials, very poor. I mean, the real indicator is going to be on Saturday night here in Las Vegas, because they take on a Bulldog side that's full of confidence, and we'll get a real gauge on where they're at. I think. You said 14. A lot of people have said there's a spoon in them this year, which would be a travesty because it's such a proud club to be that far down the barrel. Year on year, you would think there'd be improvement with Shane Flanagan's coaching and with the way he's had to overhaul the roster. But if they go backwards this year, right, well, there's going to be some big dramas. And I mean, look, the elephant in the room is that, is Kyle Flanagan the man to steer that side around? And that's been the talking point for some time. Now, Shane's...
He's the 6, isn't he?
Yeah. So, and look, he plays obviously a big role in that side. Now, they're moving on. They're committed to that direction they're going with. Look, I can't see them beating Canterbury on Saturday night here, but I might be wrong. I don't know. You can't. You could not back them if you were having a punt on this game.
Well, one of the Dragons' issues is creativity and points, and you look at that team and you.
Well, Val's got points in him.
Yeah, well, Val, you'd look at Luciano Leilua for a bit of ball playing, maybe some striking sewer, but other than that, you've got, when they put on the 2 dummy halves, I think they play at their best when you've got Cork and Liddle on together.
Yep.
They look threatening, but probably lack that player that can really support and help out in and around. Like if Cook goes and Little goes and they get a late offload, there's not much finishing there. That is the concern, is where did the points come from the Dragons.
Now, Jimmy, would it be fair to say that the Dragons have the worst halves combination in the game? And we had this discussion the other day. The more I think about it, the more I think there's no team with worse halves than the Dragons.
Well, it's probably not how I'd like to describe it. But if you were to ask me to rank the 6s and 7 from all 17 NRL clubs in order of where my preference, they would be down near the bottom. Yes, of course. But this is the sort of narrative that seems to drive players, and I understand that. Like, I can recall a game last year where the Dragons won, and post-game, it's not bad for the worst halves combination in the comp. Well, I mean, it's just, it's not a fact, it's just an opinion. And look, I don't think that...
Who's worse?
Well, that's what I'd probably have them near the bottom, or if not bottom, in terms of 6 and 7, where I would have them. The old playing for your life. If you had picks of halves in the comp, or the half combos in the comp, you'd probably have them at around about 17th, wouldn't you?
The concern for Daniel Atkinson as well, in the last 2 years, he's basically played 2 full games of footy, which is a bit concerning.
And halfback is there's a lot on the shoulders, and I don't think he's going there to be like a steady 7. So Sandon Smith, for example, goes up to the Newcastle Knights, and look, his role is pretty clear.
Yeah.
It's to get the ball to Dylan Brown and Kalen Ponga in good areas to go and exploit. But Atkinson doesn't have that role at the Dragons because they don't have a Dylan Brown and they don't have a Kalen Ponga. So Daniel Atkinson's role at the Dragons is going to be even more demanding than most of the halfbacks because he's going to have to do the overwhelming amount of creativity and game management.
They have got that young half that played in the trial in week 1.
Cade
Reid, who, give him a bit of New South Wales Cup early, you might get him in there. So they've obviously banking on that they're going to develop from within.
Well, Jimmy, we know you've got them in I said 14th, but you had them 15th, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got them in 15th at Dobbo. Where have you got them?
I think they're in the bottom 4.
Give us a position.
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Could they win the wooden spoon? Absolutely. Could they be higher than that? But they're not going to be in the 8, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now, just next door, we did a podcast in 2025 about Las Vegas, and it was just as the Hudson Young, what was it, the fluffed up baseball bat, whatever it was.
Matty Nicholson and was
it
right?
Morgan Smithies? I think Morgan Smithies and Hudson.
and
I had a
Hudson
little
Young.
dust up in the hotel lobby.
Brouhaha.
You didn't like it, Dobbo, at the time. Now there's more dramas in Las Vegas.
Well, what drama is there? Let's not supersize it. What drama is there in Vegas? There's not.
Well, I assume you think it's a drama.
I don't think it's a drama.
Okay, well, let me explain what's happened to everyone.
Yeah, okay, let's
We've
go.
got the Bulldogs Instagram page has posted a series of pictures of them all enjoying the Las Vegas festivities.
On the drink.
Yep. And then Tommy Dearden's had his Bucks party over in Las Vegas as well.
Well, firstly, to Tommy Dearden and his Bucks, congratulations. The NRL paid for his Bucks day. I think that's very smart. He got to fly all his mates' business class over to Las Vegas for his Bucks night. I think that's, that's smart.
There's no way you'd go after him, is there?
Who? Tommy Dearden?
Yeah.
No
in
way.
fact, I want to let the fans into a little insight.
I'll
here.
give you... No,
let the fans... Oh, no, he's the Queensland number 7. I need to keep him on side. But when it came to Hudson Young and Morgan Smithies, one's a POM, one's a New South Wales.
Hudson Young and I like this. Hudson Young and I like this.
Get a grip.
You know that. Can I just say this now about the Dogs?
Are you going to say anything about Tommy Dearden? No, he's the Queensland number 7. I want to keep him on side. But I tell you what, I want to slam the Bulldogs because that's a poor image.
I'm not going to slam the Bulldogs at all. I'm going to say this now. On a Saturday night, on any given Saturday night or any given Sunday night, as a player, did you go out with your teammates?
Yes.
Okay. And at any point, did the Bulldogs post photos of you out on the drink with your teammates on social media? No.
No.
But a bit different social media now.
I'm sorry.
It's changed over the last few years.
This is my take. I love the fact that they're all bonding. I just don't like the fact that it's on social media. Why?
It's through their official channel because to show them that they're relatable people.
Well, they are relatable. They are relatable. They're in Las Vegas playing football, and their fans are
And
coming.
they're grown men.
Yeah, exactly.
They're grown men.
Exactly,
Like,
which are allowed to drink anytime they want.
Why would you try and hide it like it's some big secret ordeal?
okay.
Let's just say this is what we do. This is who we are.
Well, because
we're grown men
James-
and we're enjoying
James-
alcohol responsibly.
James, they are role models to fans, and we're not going down this road again. We're not going down this road again.
Yeah, I know they're role models, and I know they're professional athletes.
I don't want videos of you and I having a drink. We're going to have a drink tonight. I don't think it needs to go on the Triple M social media. Why do the Bulldogs social media team find it necessary to put these players up?
Show that it's relatable.
Put them going out and seeing the Bellagio fountain, whatever. But come on, drinking. You know, drinking
you know what's
cocktails.
funny, Dobbo? You're willing to do this about the Dogs, but you're nothing about Dearden.
I'm the same.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You've been way harsher on the Dogs than you are on Dearden because you're sucking up to him because he's a Queensland number 7.
Hey,
you
listen,
suck up to him.
Listen,
you pick and choose your battles.
Head, stop.
And you're
hey,
being exposed.
Ginger.
You're being exposed.
Stop for a minute.
You pick and choose your battles.
Stop.
And you
have you seen a photo of the Cowboys on the drink? Have you?
You showed
No. Have
me.
you?
You showed me.
I showed you a group of players in a t-shirt. In a t-shirt.
So
these
role models.
Very different.
How could anybody in town
Very different.
Hello? They're treating this like a box. They're here for work. They're treating it like a box. Oh, my God. How could they do that?
Gemma.
You're sucking up to Dearden because he's the Queensland number 7.
Did you see it on the Cowboys' social media? Nope. It was on
some form of
It was
social
on one of
media.
the players, and they weren't drinking.
think
They were
that's
all standing there.
responsible? You think
I think
that's
it's a lot more responsible than
do
the
ya?
Bulldogs putting their photos. I have no dramas with them getting on the drink. I think it's great. But why put it on social media? Let them be men. Everybody doesn't need to see that. There's got to be some sanctity around it on both sides.
What's
Mate,
Las Vegas famous for at the end of the day?
Dobbo.
Sin City.
Dobbo. Stand for something. So
I'm
if you're
saying-
gonna
mate.
go after all NRL players,
I'm
or
not-
all clubs that post stuff on social
Oh,
media,
mate.
slam the
Hey,
Cowboys
listen,
as well.
listen.
Because I'm not going to have you come
Did
after
the
the Bulldogs
Cowboys-
while I'm here,
Hey,
and you can get away with
did
the Cowboys scot-free.
Hey, listen here. Just because you're on the take of the Dogs, stand down.
No, I'm the same. I'm playing for both.
Okay, well,
and
stop.
like I was playing for Canberra last
Whoa,
year.
whoa,
but you
whoa.
cherry pick.
Whoa.
You cherry pick.
Okay.
You're being exposed
Just
for who
because you
really are.
overshout
'Cause you
doesn't mean
stand
you're
for
winning the
nothing.
argument.
No, you'll fall for it.
I
it's
stand
the
for
Cowboys.
every
'Cause I
player.
love Tell Me Dearden,
Every
I need to
player.
get an exclusive come Origin time. So if I say anything bad, I lose
please?
my access to him.
Knights posted some stuff on social media as well of the guys enjoying a bit of the fun. And I'll tell you
Did
what.
they?
Yeah, they did.
Well, I don't agree with that.
I'll tell you what, though. Las Vegas is famous for partying. That's what it's famous for.
So you think they're over here for partying?
No,
do you?
but I think it helps promote the game, showing them enjoying the Las Vegas experience. So then
no
next
question.
year,
What, they couldn't go to the
fans-
Sphere? They couldn't go to the Sphere and take a photo there, or they couldn't go.
But
they could-
Overrated the Sphere.
Yeah, I think it is as well.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
Sphere was average, wasn't it? We went there for
Yeah.
you too. It was a bit of meh. Absolute meh.
Righto.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you guys have managed to manipulate this. I'm going to put it on the record. I have no problem with them getting on the drink, all clubs, any NRL player. I absolutely support it. But I don't believe clubs should put that on the social media. I just don't.
So is Dearden the Cowboys the same?
Well, they didn't put it on the social
No, they
media,
did,
mate.
they did.
No, the club didn't. The
But it's
club,
been on-
no, the
what
club
does it
did
matter
not.
the channel that it's on?
Oh my
Tell
God.
me, is that wrong then?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Not everybody. If you're a Bulldog supporter, the Bulldogs have put it on their social media. You think it's a good look? I don't care. I'm not judging them getting
Do
on
you
the
think
drink.
any Bulldogs fan is sat there at home?
I don't
going
think
like,
they give a
Oh,
crap.
I don't know what to do with my life.
But
now,
you want
I'm
me
just
to have
gonna
an
go and get on the
opinion, and I'm
drink
having
with
an opinion, and because you don't like it, because you're on the, I'm a Bulldogs man. You know what? I'm sorry. You're going to defend them.
Guys, we've got a long
Probably
week.
should-
Oh,
Probably
mate,
catch
I
it.
don't know why I get roped into this every year.
Mate, basically,
You know you can go home. See ya. We'll do the
Funny
show
enough-
without you.
Funnily enough, Dobbo, you're not my boss. You're my equal
Well,
here.
that's
Charlie
where,
White is the host.
That's where you're
Me
wrong.
And you are on
That's
the
where you're
same-
wrong.
You're not my
You
boss.
should know the pecking order.
So
Anyway.
we're equal.
We've got a long week, boys. So we'll have to wrap it up there.
Is it not over?
It's over for now. We're back
One day.
tomorrow. We're back tomorrow. Same time, 6 p.m. Or get the podcast.
I love you, Bulldogs.
Wherever you get your podcast, search Triple M NRL. Get the listener app, Dobby. You love the listener
I
app.
love
don't
the
you?
Tommy
listener
did and
app,
just message you.
Oh,
Thanks for your
stop it.
support, Ben.
Yeah, of course. Rock solid, Tom.
Thanks for joining us, boys. We'll be back tomorrow.
See you later.
See you, mate.